about Revelations, you know what I'm saying? Revelations 12. You know what I mean? At birth, I was given the name.
Peace. Here we go. Another day from the deaths of apocalypse. Dogs to God's entertainment. With a quick word of reflection. And here we go with episode number 3 of Walking the Road to Recovery 9 Steps in Motion on the From the Deaths of Apocalypse podcast. Look, we are on a mission to provide a place, and our desire is to become the first place that pops up in one's head. The first place, the go-to place, to go and get the kind of information I need, to have the kind of conversation I need to have to overcome drug addiction. We are on a mission to reach the hearts, minds, and souls of as many people that God would allow us to reach. See, the conversation is necessary, especially with someone who have come through what we desire to get through. And to have a real conversation where, no, it's not philosophical. That ain't what this is. So don't try to philosophize on the subject matter. You know, a real conversation where you dig through all of the mess. See, that person that we want to get to has a whole lot of mess piled up on top. That is, you got to open so many doors. You go in one door of a person, you're still not there. You go in another door of a person, you're still not there. You kick another door down. It's so much stuff you got to get through to get to the person that we're after, so that that person can see who they really are. And that's what the death of apocalypse is in this season. Walking the road to recovery. 9 steps in motion. You know, and so we're going to get into, you know what? Let me tell you something. Step number 3, out with the old. Out with the old. Yes, that old you. See, the whole idea of walking the road to recovery is we have to get rid of the old person to establish a new person. Listen, let me tell you something about the old you. The old you is a bully. The old you has fixed themselves in you. The old you is determined to stay. The old you does not want to leave. You understand? And the old you is patient. Not only is the old you patient, the old you is determined. And guess what? The old you knows you well. Knows you better than you know yourself. Because the old you also knows that they have a time. You know, the Quran said there's a term, you know, for every nation. There's a term for, listen, the old you knows that their time is coming. So they have to know how to manipulate you. They have to know the signs. See, the old you knows the signs. They know, okay, they're strong right now, so let me lay back and wait, because they're going to get tired and I'm going to be able to creep in. You understand? The old you knows when to swing. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and the closer the old you get to that point where they know that real you has been touched, has been shaken, his eyes have come open, then they know that, oh, I gotta step up my game, because this lion that was asleep has been awakened. You understand what I'm saying? And so the old you has to go. Out with the old is step number 3 in this 9-step process in motion, walking the road to recovery. So we're going to get into this step, and Brother Hashim is going to lay it out for us. And let me say something about Brother Hashim. See, Brother Hashim and myself, we came into the Nation of Islam the same year, 1994. And in that year, the culture of do for self is the foundation of our entry. The culture of do for self was all around us. And so the seed of do for self was placed in us, watered, nurtured, and it germinated, it dropped the root down, and the shoot is still on its way up. So regardless of what you see, because in that process, you may see that, oh, I don't understand that move, but what's taking place in that move is that I gotta dust it off. I gotta regroup. I gotta learn from my mistakes so I can take another stab at it. You know what I mean? And then we jump out there again, and then we go to another level, then another level, then another level. So I just want to say, I say all of that to say, whatever our brother is doing, man, support the brother. Because guess what? The determination is there to be free, to be successful in this effort to do for self, which goes way beyond one's self, because the true self is the righteousness. The true self is God within. The true self is the collective. Alright? So, I just wanted to say that before we get into Out with the O. And I want you to, while you're listening to Out with the O, listen to the love and the passion for what he does. That's why I'm so grateful that he agreed to do the voiceover for this work, because it's his element, man. He's in his element. And this is what we wanted to show, not only to ourselves, but to everyone, that our unified efforts and our recognizing the God in each other and putting the God of each other out, you know what I'm saying? In spite of ourselves, man, then you see the majesty of God, man, in each other. So, step number 3, out with the O. Let's go get it. Brother Hashim, take him away.
Chapter 3. Step 3. Out with the old. Taha, O man. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, O man, we have not revealed the Quran to thee that thou mayest be unsuccessful. Holy Quran, Surah 20, verses 1 and 2. The decision is made, self-love is being nurtured, the journey begins. Reverend Willie F. Wilson taught that when you get baptized, it's not the end of your journey. In fact, this is where your journey begins. That made a lot of sense, because when he dipped me in that water, trust me, I didn't feel too much different from before I got in the water. The biggest difference is that I was soaking wet. He took the mysticism out of the ritual. He also made a profound statement that it took a while for me to embrace and understand. He said, you have to pray as if everything depends on God. and work as if everything depends on you. This makes a whole lot of sense to me now. But in the beginning stages of my walk on this road to recovery, I was a little confused. I had come face to face with the reality that faith without works is dead. This is a step-by-step and day-by-day journey. In fact, the mind travels so fast, this is a moment-to-moment journey. It only takes a split second to change your mind. What is fed to the mind becomes very important. And what has to be considered is how the mind has already been fed to get caught up in drug abuse. This is why this step is called Out with the Old. What we would liken this step to is when your computer has so many files, programs, software, and so on, that you can't get it to perform to the capacity that it's designed to perform. Or try moving a 3-bedroom, 2-level house into a 1-bedroom apartment. It's time to let some things go. Some of those files and programs are making your computer move way too slow. Some of those things that you are trying to hold on to should have never even made it to the house. So it's definitely no room for them in the apartment. Same goes with this new person that you're striving to become. Everything can't come with you. Not only does your environment, along with the company you keep, have to change, the old you has to make way for this new person that is being developed moment to moment. Let's look at something. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort spent to maintain the life of a drug addict. If you have money, you can go and make your purchase, use your drug of choice, and the journey begins. Then, when you run out of money, there's time and energy spent on plotting and scheming. You know how it goes. Once the ball gets rolling, it's a never-ending journey. Now you're putting time in hanging around to see who will invite you to their next move. If that's not the case, you're looking for ways to rob and steal. What's the point? If all of this comes to a halt because of your decision to quit, then you have a lot of time on your hands. And you know what they say, an idle mind is the devil's playground. Even though it is necessary to cut back on most of what your daily activity once was, you will still stand the chance of being way too idle. We stated earlier in this writing that drugs appeal to the pleasure center. One of the things to guard yourself against is anything that would feed your lower nature. When you start cleaning up your life, there will still be so much temptation around you. It must be understood that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. There are so many vices that will test you in the decision that you have made. For instance, we live in a sex-crazed world, and because sex is natural, you will find yourself shifting your addiction to sexual promiscuity if you're not careful. I say this from experience, and this is just a note of caution to guard yourself against any subtleties that could lead in this direction. This is also a time where cigarettes and alcohol abuse tend to pick up if that was a part of your routine. Each one of these can lead you right back down the slippery slope. Each one of these habits can trigger the desire to go right back to the drugs. Either that, or they all have the potential to get out of hand and kill you even faster. Out with the old has everything to do with the way one thinks. How is your thinking? I used to think it was the company that I kept. So my thought was, let me stay away from these people who all they want to do is get high. Guess what I found? I found out that I was the main person I needed to get away from. That old me. How in the world am I going to do that? It starts with the thinking. There's a saying, thoughts produce actions, action creates habits, and habits shape character. You have to be conscious of the thoughts traveling through your mind. A total awareness of self is key. This means that you have to guard what your eyes see, what your ears hear, and what your heart suggests. In the Holy Quran, Surah 113, Al-Falaq, the dawn, it reads, "In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the dawn, from the evil of that which He has created. and from the evil of intense darkness when it comes, and from the evil of those who cast evil suggestions and firm resolutions, and from the evil of the envier when he envies. If the old you would hang out in the streets all night until the break of dawn, out with the old. If the old you often looked to rob, cheat, and steal to get that next hit, out with the old. If the old you would feed on the darkness of self to see who could be taken advantage of for that next hit, out with the old. If the old you quickly responds to evil suggestions, inward and outward, to feed that dope addict tendency, out with the old. If the envy of someone who has what you desire causes you to do them harm and take what you can get from them to feed your addiction, out with the old you. In order to get through this step, be ready to say farewell to the person you have gotten used to. Know and understand that the old you will work to bully you around and force you to remain under their control. The old you has gotten real comfortable in your skin. The old you knows that they don't belong in existence any longer. However, they don't intend to leave you alone. In fact, the old you will play on your emotions and ask, what are you going to do without me? This is all in the mind, and you have the power to change your mind. So, as you are getting rid of the old you and preparing yourself for the brightness of a new day, number one, pay close attention to what you allow to feed your mind. What are your triggers? In my battle against drug abuse, being alone with my thoughts, thinking of everything that I haven't accomplished, what to accomplish and need to accomplish could bring about a depression that would trigger me to want to get high. Or watching a movie and seeing something that reminds me of my personal life, that all of a sudden I'm in my feelings about it and ready to make a bad decision. Number two, pay close attention to how this world makes evil fair seeming. This world is made for addictions to thrive. Whatever indulgences you desire in this world, you can get it in abundance. There is a liquor store on every corner. Acquiring an illegal drug simply is a matter of asking around. Most drug strips are clearly drug strips. City to city, state to state, the drug spots are very identifiable. This is a world where you can win an Oscar for portraying gangster. You can win a Grammy for music with lyrical content that portrays a degenerate lifestyle. Trap music is just that, a trap. Some of the most popular movies feature drug lords and thug life, so the ability to distinguish fantasy from reality becomes very important. Number three, be honest with yourself as to how easy it is to get dark, right along with the darkness of this world. Knowing this makes it imperative to continue to feed on and continue to build on the self-love that was documented in step 2. Number 4, understand that while you are packing the bags of the old you, preparing the eviction, remember that you are dealing with a slick person, a thief, a robber, a liar, and a cheat. So don't be surprised if you wake up the next morning and that old you ends up right there in the bed with you. The reality is that this is a part of yourself that must be put in check. Depending on how long you have been under the condition of addiction, it's like a big young man versus an infant. For me, 14 years. So imagine the 14-year-old strength over an infant that just got here 90 days ago. So when you reach 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, continue to shine the light on this new and improved person that is growing in you and nurture it as if it is a newborn infant. You will be successful. This leads me right to the next step. I am prayerful that this is all coming together, making sense. It's time to bring in the new.